Welcome back into another episode of the Spaceman 2.0 Phoenix Truth Rising Show. Here to help you grow in the knowledge and wisdom of truth, and the truth will set you free. So let's get right back on into Through Darkness and Light, Endless Cycles of the Divine Plan. The greatest and I think most illustrative understanding of the true history is from the Phoenix Journals, with understanding of our spiritual connection with God and understanding of our divine inheritance of our oneness with God. So with that being said, let's get into the spiritual teachings from HATONN. So we're going to start off with a meditation. Love alone is capable of uniting living beings in such a way as to complete and fulfill them, for it alone takes them and joins them by what is deepest in themselves. But love must be allowed, and it must be earned. The more you attempt to demand love, the more it eludes you. There is no promising, pleading, bartering, cajoling, or threatening which can secure love. True love will only be given when earned. Love withers under constraint. Its very essence is liberty. It is compatible neither with obedience, jealousy, nor fear. It is there most pure, perfect, and unlimited, where its votaries live in confidence, equality, and reserve. But from the realms of God, all is love, and awaits only your acceptance, for it has no bindings or requirements for the giving, only discipline in the learning. For love is the guiding force, which will look onto your life, and not onto that which can be reaped from the return. Blessed be the ones who learn the difference. So let's reread that last part. But from the realms of God, all is love, and awaits only your acceptance, for it has no bindings or requirements for the giving, only discipline in the learning. For love is the guiding force which will look onto your life, and not onto that which can be reaped from the return. Blessed be the ones who learn the difference. The future is only the past again, entered through a different door. I think it's time to repeat truth of historical data, for you are going to be caught within its tentacles as surely as death and taxes, as it re-evolves to confront you. You are going to have to face the truth of your lineage and recognize from whence you came if there is hope in the returning into that truth. As you will soon become bombarded with nonsense about space aliens and bloodsuckers and abductors from out there somewhere, look on to reason. God would not leave you of his creations unattended or alone. If you live and anticipate within the lie, awaiting fulfillment of the lie, and demand the conclusion as in the lie, so shall the lie devour you. I must confront you, firstly, with your ancestors. It is certainly past time that you meet them. You who have had all the journals will remember this information is already given early on in the writings. You who have not will likely find it still a totally controversial matter. The point is to understand that your planet is in chaos, and we have nothing to gain from you as a species trapped within your civilization as it has come to be, for ours has grown beyond the pressures of the density of yours. I would only suggest that you read and perceive an open-minded flexibility of thought instead of slamming shut the door upon your own journey home. You're going to meet yourself, so sit down if you must. Get your bracer if you must, but you are going to consider some possibilities of passage. First, consider that this information is denounced by the indoctrinated, by man, religions, half given by the New Age destroyers in their attempt to cover the need for truth and action acceptable to God and hosts. There is no controversy or confusion to be gleaned herefrom. In fact, it would seem most wondrous to me to have my history evolve from truth of heritage instead of from fish or monkeys. How dare you limit a God of creation, capable of ordering a universe and causing his most precious creations to be a mud sculpture and a rib bone birthed in sin? Please, children, let the lies go, for they are destroying you. You have reached the time of choosing in your awakening into light. Are you awaiting your God's return in fear, dread, or in excitement of the moment of freedom? Think upon these things, and with reason, ponder the most logical scenario. Puffy clouds and fantasy, la land contortions will not do it, this time nor any time. I would like to believe you are not so foolish in the lie as to fail to recognize your own birthright. You ones who quote the Bible and then deny God's place in the heavens and brothers from space? Job 38:31. Cast thou bind the sweet influences of the Pleiades, or loose the bands of Orion. What might this mean? Well, it appears that you are banded, caught of Orion, when you should be seeking the sweet truth of alliance with Pleiades. This is in your own books, Chellis, the very books they hold high at the pulpits, your own man-doctrinated churches. Amos 5:8. Seek him that maketh the 7 stars and Orion, and turneth the shadow of death into morning, and maketh day dark with night, that calleth forth the waters of the sea, and pour them out upon the face of the earth. The Lord is his name. Living history. Throughout time, thousands of cultures, religions, and beliefs have been introduced to this delicate planet you call home. Many of these ideals and ideas conflict or contradict each other, and existing in every single one is a positive-negative flow of information. However, in all of the societies and civilizations that have been researched for this connection, one topic remains alluded to as a consistent enlightening force. This singular common denominator, which can be found in the earliest texts and legends, is the mystifying cluster of suns, which are the Pleiades. Suns? Perhaps you will now begin to see a bit more clearly the possibility and why you shall be having quite a bit of light shed upon your beings as the coming months and years come to pass. The ancients and the relatively recent citizens of truth recognize the Pleiades as the home of God, or the center of the universe, where God abides and the seat of immortality. Heaven must be somewhere, if it be out there, as you project. Further, the parents of life must be somewhere out there also, if your projections are to have any valid meaning at all. Even as with the most orthodox doctrines, perchance it never occurred to you. In your late year, about 2690 BC, the Yellow Emperor of China, Hung Ti, in which reign miraculous progress was made, utensils of wood, clay, and metal were manufactured, boats and carts were constructed and utilized, and the medium of currency was originated. Provinces of the vast country were mapped. Acupressure and acupuncture became sciences, acknowledged liberally that this rapid development came forth from conversations held in court with his consultants, beings from the Pleiades. The Hopi named the Chuhokan, meaning those who cling together, and they too consider themselves direct descendants of the inhabitants of the cluster. The Hopi, as well as the Navajo and the Sioux, along with many other tribes and cultures dispersed around the world, used a calendar that allowed them to chart the seasons, special events, and ceremonial rites with uncanny accuracy. They used a system based on a 260-day sacred round or minor cycle, and a 360-day year, a major cycle, which equaled a period between the midnight culminations of the Pleiades. Any day calculated on these cycles would not repeat itself for 18,980 days, or 52 years. In the Kiva of the Messes, sacred temple of the Messes, the Hopi ceremoniously light the new fire. This occurs every 52 years when the temple's sacred points align with the stars, Chuhokan, Pleiades. All fires are extinguished throughout the nation and rekindled from a sacred fire produced by the holy men. The young men of the tribe learn the importance of the Pleiades. Early in life, for initiation into the spiritual ways takes place only when the cherished cluster is directly overhead at night. The Creeks claim to have come to earth from the stars in spirit form to become flesh and blood. Each year, a medicine man who has served the apprenticeship of 7 years performs the green corn dance, where he takes 7 ears of corn from 7 fields of the 7 clans to ensure a healthy harvest. The Dakota Ahani stories, tales of the world previous to Dakota emergence, speak of the Teyamni, the home of their ancestors and the reason for the 7 tribes, the Pleiades. The 7 sisters play a major role in their history as well as their present-day culture. In May, the month of Hanblasia, the Dakota Lakota communicate with the spirits. Astronomy tells you that the Pleiades rise with the sun in May, and the Lakota oral history tells you that the home of the spirits is the Pleiades. The older Dakota Lakotas say that when you die, your spirit goes to the Milky Way and turns south, south to the 7 stars. I suggest you think upon this most sincerely. Perhaps you will now understand better why there will come the writings from the sacred hills within, as projected by the appointed Lakota speaker Little Crow, and Wamblesha from Wonkin Tonkin HATONN shall be putting the oral truths forth for your confirmation. You of our beloved brothers, come from us, with us, and are of us, O Pleiades. This is a book by Little Crow from The Gathering, The Wisdom of Little Crow. We'll go into that book another day. I prefer to label this brother Father Wamblesha, for he represents the white eagle of the firebird, the higher wisdom, keeper for the oral tradition from which will be rebirthed truth in action in conjunction with the sky people, hosts. Wamblesha means red eagle, but remember, in the native tongue, it is the red road which is the path of truth. And this is why it would be a red man who would bring unto you the oral truths of the generations of civilizations. The Navajo named the sparkling sons of the Pleiades the Deleya, or Osage. The Navajo named the sparkling sons of the Pleiades the Deleyehe, the Osage. Believed their society was once pure of spirit and journeyed from those stars to the earth. The Iroquois believed the twinkling orbs represent 7 young people who guard the holy seed throughout the night. Of interest, the Hohokam, a Pima word meaning that which has vanished, disappeared from the arid Arizona desert they had so successfully irrigated and tamed. No one seems to know for certain why they vanished or where they went. Legend claims they returned to their home in the stars. Truth is far stranger than fiction, Chellas. Your years, 1980 and 1981, witnessed the Native American exodus to the lush green hills of Canton, Zurich. Tribal leaders and medicine men from across the continental U.S. had caught word of the ongoing experiences and sought out the contactee. They came to congratulate him for his courage and to compare their histories and prophecies to those of the visitors from the 7 stars. Astounding as that might seem to you, doubtful ones, the majority of concepts were a unified thought shared by Earth humans and Pleiadians alike. I can only heartily suggest you stop picking at this information and pay attention. The time is at hand for you to learn of these things, for it is the cycle of the times which shall bring you home again. I believe you must be getting a glimmer of where home might be and how you are going to get there. Hermes, listen to your inner selves and look into the infinity of space and time. They reverberate the songs of the stars and the harmony of the spheres. Each sun is a thought of creation, each planet a mode of that thought. In order that you may know divine thought, O souls, you painfully descend along the paths of the 7 planets and their 7 heavens, and ascend once again. What do the stars do? What do the numbers say? What do the spheres revolve? O souls that are lost and saved, they relate, they sing, they revolve your destinies. Professor Thomas Gold, Cornell University. Life on Earth may have started when spacemen landed here billions of years ago. Lucretius, 99 to 55 BC. All this visible universe is not unique in nature, and we must believe that there are, in other regions of space, other beings and other men. Dr. Felix Ziegel, Moscow Institute of Aviation. The UFO phenomena is a challenge to mankind. It is the duty of scientists to take up this challenge, to disclose the nature of the UFO, and to establish the scientific truth. Javier Garzon, National Astronomical Observation, Mexico City. UFOs really exist and apparently come from other planets. Von Paps Johannes, 23, Pierre Carpe, 1935, German translation. The signs are increasing. The lights in the sky will appear red, blue, green rapidly. They will grow. Someone is coming from very far and wants to meet the people of Earth. Meetings have already taken place, but those who have really seen have been silent. So be it. Why would it traditionally be that the ring nebula of Lyra is referred to by Pleiadians, you, as the Eye of God? When the colonies on Atlantis and Lemuria finally broke up, all verified by laser-enhanced sonar and video by specially outfitted US and Soviet submarines and craft, some of you sailed to the Pyrenees, others to the Yucatan Peninsula, and many remained in the places which would preserve the treasures of time passage, such as parts of Peru, the western points of the US, Australia, etc., with the central systems of navigation and communications remaining intact in a location in California, USA, and the central storehouse in the Philippines. Never have these places been left unguarded. There are many places which are now again operational in preparation for the coming again. So once again, this is the best, most spiritual insight you'll get with the greatest understanding of true history on the globe. So get your copy today, scroll down below and order one by emailing me, and we will get that shipped out to you right away. So before we move on into the next part, Gray Men, we're just going to get into a picture from 1996 that was taken of a cloud formation in the sky, which is supposed to be of our Pleiadian brothers and sisters that can manifest from the fourth, fifth dimensions into our third whenever they want. If they were there in physical plain sight, you know, us men would shoot them down. So they have to be careful. Gray men. May I please repeat, it is not the little gray men from space that are here to get you. It is the gray men right on your placement. Yes, there are bases there on your place. There are some dastardly beings within those bases. Mostly, however, they are flesh and blood, good old boys of the conspiracy or the conspirators' tools. There are not body snatchers, however, who fly around in spacecraft, nailing unsuspecting bodies. Those are planned and orchestrated abductions to scare the living daylights out of you, the people, so you will be terrified of all spacemen who might venture into your places. Earth became a prison planet some eons ago. The head of the dark energies was sent there, for goodness sake, as punishment for those things perpetrated elsewhere in the cosmos. What do you ones expect? He pulled all his thugs along with him, and he most certainly will not fold his tent easily and fly into the bright morning skies, for one very good reason. He cannot, for he has nowhere to go and be accepted. The Grey Conspiracy has been trying to locate an achievable placement to escape onto. In exchange for technology, they promised much to several races of space dwellers. These ones, however, came in good intent and honestly felt there could be a working relationship with man of Earth, who is in terrible circumstance. Yes, the gray men of the conspiracy can get off your planet, but they don't have a desirable place, totally self-sustaining, when they get there. There is an objective in point in this coalition at onset, but as usual, the adversarial plan ripped off these visitors also. Some of the travelers came in hopes of bringing some insight and assistance to Earth Brothers, only to be utilized and actually technology taken to advance a whole army of robotoid replicas utilizing DNA reproduction methodology. The only thing the adversary, your own gray men, had to offer the ETs is control, money, and worldly goods. But these things are not of value to anyone in the cosmos who has achieved truth and the ability to travel intergalactically. Remember that you as a civilization of thought forms of the Creator Source were given this place on which to experience. We of the Higher Brotherhood work firstly within the laws of creation, the laws of God secondly, and we are bound by constraints beyond that which you, in your awakening, cannot yet remember. We do not intervene. When we do come even to your surface to get you or our own brothers, we will have special dispensation. We are bound by cosmic law to keep out of your business. Those who break those laws shall pay most dearly. They have already done so. They forfeited their right to return to the universal skyways. They are bound to your dying planet. Those who came in peace, and as a portion of the cosmic plan, do their work and research through prior agreements with the entities involved. They do not harm, they do not mutilate animals or humans, and they do wondrous good for your species. There is no way that you can drift up to some cloud of fluffy vapor and somehow just fly around with a Master Christos. You will be picked up by spacecraft and beamed through a high-frequency light beam, if you qualify and request same. God went to prepare a place for you at the end of earth journey, and he did so. We are prepared to receive you of God who await his coming, and do so in intent of justice and effort of living within the laws as given. You are experiencing in manifested form of physical coalition and density. That is not something that can be both ways. You either must give up the flesh, or you must learn to manage it properly. There is no magic. God provides for alternatives in sequence to cover your needs of transition, and would not leave you stranded on a fluff bit within range of radioactive blasts from hell. We have untold eons of experience in the mode of transition and security, and with as little detrimental impact as can be given. But you ones are going to have to come into understanding of the connection and brotherhood so that we can work together. We know that you who struggle and wait are lonely and often feel deserted. You are not. We are here, and some of us are working right among you in full operation. We can only work in this manner, so be it. With the dark energies, also they work exactly like we, except they had a great head start, and all of you helped them to get in control, for they deal with the physical senses, and we must deal with that which they have caused to become invisible and thus doubted. So we're going to stop here for